Hey hunters, starting today at 5 p.m. your local time, Coral Pukei spawns are boosted once again, and they'll end on Sunday at midnight. If you couldn't get out and haven't fought a bunch yet, or you want to brush up on its moveset, then this is the video for you. So let's dive into how to fight Coral Pukei. Let's start out with the attacks that make it unique and how to mitigate them. We have the shotgun water lob. His telegraph for this is he'll raise his head, turn to the left and close his eyes before he lobs them. He actually has two versions of this. One where he shoots 3 pellets of water, and a second version where he shoots the 3 water droplets twice. I don't see any difference in the initial telegraph, so be mindful and keep an eye out to make sure he's doing the single shotgun or the double shotgun. How to mitigate? Get close or far. This is one of the easiest attacks to dodge as long as you aren't mid-range. But they also splash as they land, so they can actually hit you even if you think that it landed behind you. Just don't dodge sideways or you'll most likely get hit. Also, if you dodge the first volley and stand still, he will retarget you and you will get hit even at close range. The side water jet. His telegraph for this is he'll step back and wiggle his tail up high, slightly in the direction of where he's going to shoot the jet. To mitigate, dodge to the side he is leaning away from and punish. If you're at long range, you'll need to either try to dodge roll enough times to get out of the way, or perfect evade. This is a really fun attack at close range because he telegraphs to the side that he's going to attack, and you can just go to the side that he's not aiming at and get a ton of free damage. You can even straight up attack his head as long as you are on the correct side and you're totally safe. But don't try to dodge through the tail on the attack setup because you can collide and you can get stuck and then get hit by the attack. The fade away water lob. His tell for this is he stands still, raises his wings, and shakes his head before he jumps back and shoots. How to mitigate? Just dodge backwards or sideways. The split stream jet. The telegraph for this is he'll lower his head and then raise it as he stamps his forewings into the ground. How to mitigate? Get close, and then move to the side or behind him. You're totally safe here, at least from the water. I have no idea why this triggered a perfect evade, other than maybe this little twitch was gonna damage me. But this is a pretty free damage move if you can get to behind or to the side of him. If you're at long range, this is your bane. Just when you think you've dodged it, the water jet splits. To mitigate it, you need to identify this move quickly and be able to dodge fast enough to get out of the way of the split. If you can't, your only option is to perfect evade or just keep attacking like Rambo and hoping for a flinch. Or obviously block, but what are you doing at this long range if you have a weapon with a shield? The jumping water jet. The telegraph for this is a little hop followed by raising his wings and tail and lowering his head a ton to prep for flight. How to mitigate? Just dodge to the side. As far as I've seen, this attack is always followed by the spiral attack, so don't get too close right away. He uses this attack to get in the air for the spiral. The flying water spiral. His telegraph is he does the jumping water jet. This attack tends to end the battle, one way or the other. To mitigate it, either get really far away and out of range, or practice jump rope timing. All of my years of Mega Man and Devil May Cry helped me with this kind of timing. And probably Monster Hunter too, most likely. Once he flies up in the air, he will slowly move outward in a spiral pattern with his tail water, and it'll get closer to you as the attack goes on. My advice is to just wait it out and wait until the band gets right in front of you, and the moment it is passing right in front of you, that's when you dodge in. As soon as it's like in front of you, because it's moving really fast, and the moment you swipe up as it's passing you, you will go under it because it's passing you by. If you're a little bit farther away, then you can dodge in exactly at the moment or slightly before it gets to you or in front of you, but this can be dangerous if you mistime it. Once I dodge in properly, I tend to dodge twice because I want to be sure that I'm out of range and it's moving outward, so even if I dodge twice, I know I'm not gonna like go on the other side and get hit. Once you're safely under him, you can just chill and enjoy the watery mist if it's hot out. Or you can try to get some free attacks in. He can be knocked out of the air, and it's so satisfying if you manage to make it happen. Then you can punish pretty heavily. The crazy hose attack. A lot like your ex-girlfriend, he looks back at his tail and shakes it a bit as his telegraph. To mitigate, dodge to the side or try and get in front of him. This is a great free damage move if you can identify it early. If you're long range, you can move to the side. I'd recommend probably dodging twice because it kind of fans out, or you can perfect evade. The flying claw attack. This is ripped straight from Azure Rathalos. He must have been like watching Azure Rathalos from the bushes and studying his moveset. Its telegraph, he instantly flies upward and then dives down to attack. How to mitigate? Just dodge to the side and punish. All of his other moves are the same as normal Pukei, except he doesn't use poison, he uses water. So that means he roars. His telegraph for this is he shakes his head a little bit and raises up to breathe in. You should be used to this telegraph by now from normal Pukei. How to mitigate? Time it correctly and dodge roll the roar, block with a shield, or simply wait. It can be perfect evaded, but I've never personally perfect evaded a roar. I've just heard of other people doing it in the Discord. He'll tail spin. His telegraph is he looks back at his tail and wiggles it a little bit. You can tell the difference between this one and the crazy hose attack because he'll kind of raise his tail a little bit higher and adjust his footing a little bit more on the crazy hose attack. Whereas he'll kind of just look back at his tail and wiggle it just slightly if he's going to do his normal spin attack. To mitigate, do what you always do. Dodge back out of range, or pre-roll and stay with the tail. This can be really fun with dual blades because if you're in demon mode, you'll do damage the whole time as you spin with him, just don't get caught by the tail. You can also obviously perfect evade it. Or EI counter. One note is normal Pukei will almost always, if not always, spin twice with this, but Coral Pukei will only always do it once, followed up usually by a water attack. So he'll spin and then jump backwards normally. He'll do his normal charge attack. The telegraph for this is he'll turn and look at you directly no matter where you are, so if you're behind him, he'll turn and look a lot. If you're just next to him or something, or in front of him, he'll just slightly turn, and he'll kind of wind up his body just slightly. How to mitigate? Just dodge to the side, perfect evade, or counter. Jumping freak out attack. The telegraph for this is he'll raise his head up a bit while stepping his feet closer together, getting ready to jump. How to mitigate? Just get some distance, dodge backwards. This attack is like fist fighting an insane person. If you don't take them serious, they look ridiculous until they knock you out, and then you look ridiculous. This attack hits at least twice, and can hit you even if you dodge to the side, so just back up and punish after the second hop. The say it with your chest charge. The telegraph for this is he'll hop upright pretty quickly and get really tall and hang his tongue out of his mouth to the side before running at you. To mitigate, just dodge to the side, but make sure you watch out for his tongue swing, otherwise known as a lick, follow-up attack, since it has a huge range. If you're close range, you've probably already dodged it, but if you're long range, this tongue can really get you. And those are all of his attacks that I have personally seen. Now let's break down his normal attack patterns. He always starts the fight with a faint roar that will not stop you, so this is free damage time. The attacks that I've personally seen him start with are the fadeaway water lob, the regular tail swipe, the shotgun water lob. If you stay long range, this happens most of the time, and the flying claw attack. I'm sure he can do almost any of his attacks as the intro, but I've fought him a ton and I have about 10 recordings, and these are the only attacks I've observed. 9 times out of 10, he'll do the fadeaway water lob or the shotgun water lob. If you stay at long range, he'll keep lobbing water at you over and over again, or he'll shoot the split water jet, or he'll shoot the side water jet, or he'll chase you down with the say it with your chest run, or he'll do the normal charge and bite you. Even the monster guide says that he is pretty dangerous at long range. Finally, something that humbles you long-range users. I mean, it's all fun here, we're all equal, melee and range users. If you stay in short range, he pretty much does everything. This is one of those fights where it's pretty equally dangerous to be at long range or short range. Like I said, if he starts with the tail swipe, he'll almost always, if not always, jump backwards to reset for a water attack. After his shotgun water lob, he'll almost always jump backwards and do his side water jet. If he misses you with the water lob attack and then he does his hop back, this is a great time for tons of damage. You can hit him while he's doing the water lob attack as long as you're out of range, and then the moment you see him hop back, look for the side that he's going to shoot to and dodge to the safe side and just unload your attacks on him. Do note that he won't always do his side water jet, he may do the singular water lob or a charge, like I said. After the split jet attack, he has to kind of like recoil his tongue a little bit, which leads to a pretty big opening, so you can get a few hits in there. Similarly, after the side water jet, he has to kind of like wiggle his tail to get back to normal, so you can get a few hits in there. But don't get greedy, because after he shakes his head, he can immediately turn red and follow up with an attack. Remember, he is weak to ice and poison, and you can break his head, back, left and right wings, and tail if you sever. The monster guide says that if you break his head, some of his water attacks will be considerably weaker, so maybe target that first as a priority, especially at long range. But it also says any water attack using his tail will be halted by severing the tail. But I find the tail to be a damage sponge, so unless you have Part Breaker, my advice would be to target the head unless you have some obvious free shots on the tail. I tend to hunt him with my ice dual blades because it's quicker, because that's his weakness, but goodness gracious, is this a fun fight with hammer. I love sitting under him and charging my hammer up and waiting for him to come down, or charging in and knocking him out of the air. If you know his moveset, this is one of my favorite fights with hammer. Anyway, Good luck on your hunts this weekend, hunters. If you want to see what the armor is like and you haven't already, you can check it out in this news video I did covering the events coming up in April. And if not, then have fun with the boosted spawns starting today at 5 p.m. your local time until Sunday at midnight. Thanks for watching, happy hunting, and subscribe so you can go on this hunting journey with me. Until next time, see you later, hunters.